Okay, Keith, so this is now part two. Part one was your Mac V SOG watch, which is right here. Unfortunately, all of the video pieces that I made for this, I have that video completed, but I deleted the source files, which I didn't think was going to be a problem, and because I did, it's like the original movie doesn't exist. I'm trying to extract it, but I think that I missed the boat on this one. But let's go here. Well, what do we know? We got us an Arnie, beautiful loom. Display's flashing, so obviously the battery is dying. April 1984. I love the slight blue cast to the insert. That's so nice. Oh, that's a nice watch. It's always going to be interesting to pull an original shroud like this because they tend to shatter without warning, but we'll see how that goes. Let's get into it. Okay, I got this off. Had a couple little cracks there, but I have a way to basically put those back together. You won't even see them. That's the worst one right there. These shrouds, yikes. It's just the way that they design these. They were meant to be flexible, and they're just not flexible anymore. But like mine is about like this, and you can't even tell that anything happened to it. Okay, I got that off. Always makes me so nervous because these are so fragile. It's one of the great things that are being remade now. You can see we got some scunge on there. Always with the scunge. Yeah, rock hard seal. This watch is an original survivor. All this stuff is ancient. Anyway, but I would suggest personally investing in one of the new recreations, not the metal ones, but the new black plastic ones, because they actually look great. Well, that's good. Normally these things are sort of welded in place, but not this one. That should clean up pretty well. Clean up pretty nicely. Let's get that case back off of there. Let's see what we're looking at. Good. Okay. There's your case back and your diddly. Yeah, the watch is intact. There's your spacer. You don't need that on there. Magnetic shield comes off. Oops. Hey, looking pretty clean. Looking pretty clean. Okay, so I'm going to pull the movement, pull the hands, and then, well, actually, no. I'm going to pull the back end of the movement out of here, and then I'll flip it and do it. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at the back half of the movement here. So far, it looks fine. No battery leaks, which is nice. Well, I mean, there's a little bit right there. Come on. Come off of there. I'll get that in a little bit. Let's pull this guard here. It's sort of an insulator. Always fun trying to do this stuff. That looks pretty decent. Let's get that going on here. Yeah, I don't see any problems. Well, a little bit. That right there. That's a little bit of corrosion. Tiny, tiny bit. This little thing, this is the real kicker right here. That is the adjuster for the this sort of lyre-shaped thing, and this is when you turn the crown back and forth, it flicks back and forth and hits connections that are here. That's the trimmer, and it interacts with the trimmer up, which would be here, Yeah, there was a little bit. There was a little bit. Look at that. A little bit of battery acid. Good thing we got this in here. Okay, let me pull the rest of this thing apart. Okay, so that stuff is stripped down. There was a little bit of battery acid. This is your movement spacer. So it's just got some flakes and flecks and stuff on it. I'll have to hand clean that a little bit. Here's your case. So now it's time to strip the case down, which is always lots of fun. First we have, this is your compound stem there. You can see the all-important stem rest washer. Whoops, right here. That's the little diddly that goes missing. And I do have them, but they're expensive, so it's great that you've got yours. And there you can see it. Stem rest washer. There's the split stem, this part. I just had to use my last one for another customer. Ugh, darn it. Talk about a rare part. Yeah, I'm gonna have to heat this one up to get that apart. Hang on. We did a little bit of heat on this to soften up and break this adhesive on here, because if you just try to crank on these things, there's a real good chance you'll snap that threaded section off inside the crown, and then the crown is junk, and there's no way to deal with it because these don't rust, and it's just this whole sort of big old mess. Let me get the seal out of here. Come here, you. There we go. There's your crown seal. You see it's all flattened. It's supposed to be a nice round donut. That was all thin and flattened. So, okay, we have your buttons out. Yours, despite being from '84, it's the early one seal type. So later on, they beefed these up and they put double seals on each one of these. These are singles, and obviously yours are okay because not the seals, but this design is okay because your loom is perfect. So take all these old seals off and get it all together, and let's run it through the cleaner. Okay, so we are now, I am now putting together the train. It's always interesting. Most people don't get to see this. These have sort of a nested center wheel here with the gear on the bottom, and then you actually have, this is where the cannon pinion slips, right here when you're adjusting the time. There's your stepper motor right there, and so we have a bridge that goes over this, which is right there, and then we stack the train on top of that, and there we go. This circle here is where the crown wheel goes, if you want to call it the crown wheel, where the adjustment is, and you can see the stem here. The stem is interacting with the stop lever. You can see there, when I pull the stem out, that's the hacking lever. Pretty neat. Okay, let me get going. Okay, so I now have the train back together and put back into the spacer block. And so we're moving forward. So far, so good. It looks really nice and clean. I'm gonna build up the stem out of its all parts after I put the new seal in it, and I'll continue to build the movement, but that shouldn't be a big deal. It's always fun building this section because these parts are really fiddly, but that's what we'll do. Okay, here we are post rebuild on the Timegrapher, and it looks like we're gaining just about a second a day. So we're gonna go and whoops, I got the wrong screwdriver. Hang on. Okay, so let's dial this back. Hey, at least we're getting steady numbers, right? I'm gonna pull this off of here. Hang on. Okay, let's see what happens with that. Okay, wait for another cycle to go through and see where we're at, see if it stays steady. Okay, well, let's pull it and do it again. Okay, let's wait for another cycle and see if that drops at all. Okay, so it's staying steady. Let's drop just a hair more. It's nice. This one has a lot more room on it than the last one I messed with. Let's see how we're doing. Let me turn it up a little bit. Wow. Normally they're not this finely discriminating. Oh, let me push that up. Interesting. Let's see where we're at. See if I can get that. Well, I don't believe that for a second. Let's see the second cycle and see how it runs. Oh, it's been a long day. Okay, well, I need to dial it back just a hair. Let's try that. See the second cycle and see if it changes at all. Not really. Okay. Okay, I'm barely moving it, so I don't know what we're going to see here. I don't want to overshoot the mark. What? I don't believe that either. Yeah, there we go. I mean, it's 1.5 tenths of a second per day, but still, I think we should be able to get better than that. I don't believe that either, but we'll see. Boy, I'm moving it, it's not changing. This is pretty tedious for all you watchers out there. I find it enjoyable, but I'm sure you folks don't. Come on, give me numbers. What? Wait for the second cycle. I don't know what's going on here, but I mean, I keep dropping it and it keeps not moving. Of course, these aren't really super fine discriminators, but I'll give this a few more runs, but I'm at the end of the day. I'm going to pull out of here. Okay, something funky. It's fighting me a little bit. Not quite sure why. Okay, I'm going to try this, and then if this doesn't get me where I need to be, I'm going to let it run in overnight and revisit it tomorrow morning. Well, at least I got it down. A little more tick. Let's try it. This is it. This is it. This is the end. If I don't nail this now, I'm going to let this run on overnight and I'll revisit it tomorrow morning. Yeah, I don't believe that for a second. And we're back to this. Huh, where's the sweet spot? All right, well, you know what? Tomorrow morning. Okay, we'll see how it goes. See you in the morning. Okay, it is tomorrow morning. Well, for me, it's today morning, but I guess for you, it's tomorrow morning, but whatever, it's morning. It's the next day, so we are here. So we're at just under 1/10 of a second gaining per day. This is as tight as I can make it. These discriminators, these trimmers are not as finely adjustable as 7548, but you can see we do real good work. I mean, less than 1/10 of a second gaining per day is excellent, so I'm not going to complain. If I tried to dial this down to 0, it would, because these things, it isn't a smooth transition, it jumps in steps, and so if I went a little bit to try to get it to 0, it would jump to like -0.3 of a second per day. So, I mean, this is, plus, that's like 8/100ths of a second per day. That's 1/10 of a second per day. And it's been very, very steady. This will be a very good and accurate movement. You're going to gain a little bit of time, but I prefer gaining a tiny amount of time than not, so rather than having it lose. So I'm going to call that good, and I'm going to move on to the next stage. Okay, so seeing as the complete video for this watch has gone, because I deleted the source files, I'll make a twofer here. So here's the MACV SOG. That's a great watch. I love the tan dial loom. I really do. It's just often we don't see that. Like I've seen other ones where like my example of this watch, the loom is just green. It's original, it's just green. I prefer this tan. Here's this. Your Arnie, all good to go, doing all the things it needs to do. And we have there's your light. All of your features and functions work. This is the new shroud that you sent along, so that's on there. I was able to get the original shroud off in one piece. I definitely would hold on to that, though I can't, I would recommend against reinstalling it because it probably would shatter, but I don't know. There it is. Now, I'm just waiting for the gaskets, the new gaskets for the 6139s to arrive so I can do those. And that's what I'm waiting on. Okay, let's move forward. So, watch number 3, Blue Pogue. It's a Resist 6139 6005. This is exactly what I look for in watches. Exactly what I look for in used watches. It's original brushing, original crystal, all hazy on the inside and scratched. And you look through that crystal and you see the color of the loom. Beautiful. It's intact. Ring is slightly faded, but gosh, that's a nice watch. Great place to start. It'll look awesome when it's done. Well, let's pull it apart. Oh, I was going to show you actually, there's another example of what I'm talking about in terms of watches. This is another one that came off of eBay very recently, like a few days ago for me. And again, the usual thing, it just looked kind of, pictures weren't great, it was kind of beat up, but you look through the, you know, the scratched, dirty crystal, and you look at that white lume and the clean handset, well, that's what you want. Good stuff. Okay, let's rip this apart. And there it is. You can see the beautiful, beautiful dial and lume. Just gorgeous. Basically flawless. There's a little bit of hazing on that minute hand I see, and that's pretty typical. I don't think this watch has ever been apart. Really super nice. The buttons are in great shape. It's got the nice clear bevel around it. It's not worn down, rounded and smooth. Nice job. Okay. Back of the movement, looking good. Usual thing. Well, all the haze that we saw on the inside of that crystal it's oil that got heated up and moved elsewhere. So you can see some of that here as well. And sometimes that hazing stays. It's not functional. It doesn't do anything bad, but we'll see it. Sorry about Sebastian. We're getting to the fun part. So here's the train bridge. This is where the ratchet wheel for the mainspring goes. And this is usually one of the first places I'm going to see signs that the lower mainspring arbor board is truly worn. And you can see, I'm trying to think, you can see it just a hair. That line of brassing right there, that's the teeth of the gear of this thing tipping over because the bottom is wearing. The whole thing is starting to tip like that. And you can see it starting to eat in there, just a hair. But that's enough. It's enough to tell us. So, I have everything off. There's your spring. Click. Okay, so there's your train bridge. You see, yeah, usual wear on the upper mainspring arbor bushing, which is that thing right there. Okay. So this is your train with the all-important chronograph wheel. Nothing is as important as this when it comes to these. This is my informal test. You just hold this and see if it'll just put a little bit of pressure against the pinion, and if the thing will still turn, you're fine. I do have a more complex way to test it, which I will do, but it's not really necessary right now. Come on. Come out of there. Stop fighting me. Sebastian's all excited today. I don't know why. I think he's playing with the dog. Okay. Now, pull the center wheel cock, or center wheel. Okay, there we go. Pretty standard so far. This is always the fun part. Let's see what that lower mainspring arbor board has for us. Get a little more determined on this. Come on. There we go. Yeah. Real typical, and as usual, I can tell that it's an oval. It's ovaled out this way. And that's where because it grinds out, because of the pressure of the spring, it grinds out on this side so that the upper bushing stays more or less put, but this grinds out and it goes this way, and that is why the arbor starts to tip like that, which is why everything starts to go over. Real typical. The black stuff is the old S2 lubricant there. And you can see it sort of working its way out from inside the barrel. That's not bad. Boy, I've seen far worse. Okay. I'm looking at one other thing because I want to get a cleaning process going. I pulled one of the buttons on the case, and you can see all the nice the nice fuzzies in there. It's like a dryer lint or something. Look at that. Like, look, it's literally like little hairs and flake. I mean, if you were a scientist, you could do a DNA test and all kinds of stuff. You'd probably find pollen in here from when this watch was worn and get a little bit of an idea about the original owner. Not that anybody's going to be doing that anytime soon, but I thought it was interesting. Into the garbage it goes. Okay. Working on the calendar side now. Nothing funky. Here's the dial back, and we can see that it's dated the 1st of 1972. 2-1. So that is actually, it's the same date as the case back, so we know that that's extremely likely to be original. I'm sure that it is, but it's always nice to see those things together. Okay, pulling this apart. It's nice. This one is early enough that it has it still has metal. The intermediary driving wheel here and the date driving wheel tops, those are still metal at this point, which is good. Later on they went to plastic, which is it's easier to manufacture, and it is quote self-lubricating. And I mean, it's generally fine stuff. I mean, they'll fail every now and then, but these are a little more burly. You know, usual thing. I'm sure it costs a whole lot less to make these parts out of plastic than it did to mill them out of, you know, metal. Because look, I mean, that's milled and pretty precise tolerances, and got to do it for every single piece. Whereas I'm sure that if you're molding them, then you just do the injection mold and move on. We saved quite a lot of time. This is interesting because this is supposed to be a jewel like this. This almost looks like this main plate was originally having a diafix setting in there, which would have made it, this plate was originally meant for the Japanese market, which is very interesting. I wonder why they did that. That's what this is. So this is actually a friction fit. I don't see this very often. I could push that out and I could put a diafix setting in there. I'm not going to do that, but I mean, I could. It's just interesting. So they must have run out of this or that or the other thing and decided that they needed to repurpose this, and so they put this in rather than a diafix. That's pretty nifty. And there's your lower mainspring arbor port with old grease and junk in it. I'll clean that out and we can look at it, but we know it's worn, so I'm not going to freak out that much about it. Isn't that interesting? Okay, here's another curiosity. I'll swear that this watch has never been taken apart. It's never been serviced. Came from the factory this way. This gear is upside down. I mean, functionally, it doesn't mean anything different, but see how it's flat on top? It's actually supposed to be, come here. It's supposed to have this depression around the inside of it. Instead, it was like this. It was supposed to be like this. I wonder what's up with that. Isn't that, that's also not something I see very often at all. I mean, I see it upside down like this when it's been serviced, when a watch has been serviced by somebody who isn't 100% familiar with what they're doing, but not out of the factory. That's wacky. Okay, just about to strip off the rest of the stuff. There's only a few pieces left, but there is the jewel. It's installed in the lower mainspring arbor port there. And there you go. You can see the other side of that should have been a diafix setting part there. Sorry about Sebastian. He's just out of his mind today. There it is. That was nice to see. Nice and clean. I'm in the process of putting everything together, and I just saw something to be fun to point out. One of the best indicators I have for the wear of a movement is this. Is the wear on this little bushing right here. This is where the upper pinion for the minute counter wheel sits. And when those get reset, every time they get reset, they get whapped this way. The hammer comes in, goes boink, and that bushing will actually push out on one side. It'll get sort of ovaled out, and there'll be a raised lip. I see it on almost every single one. This one looks like it's almost completely flat. I don't think this one saw a lot of miles. Anyway, I'm nearly together, which is good because I'm coming on the end of the day, and it'd be nice to bolt this together and see how the numbers are. Okay, and so here we are. Just dropped the balance. This is going to be the first click over here. You can see the date fingers coming around into this window. Be just a second. Click. There it is. Okay, I'm going to turn on the Timegrapher and let's see what the initial numbers look like, just for fun, and then that'll be the end of that. Hang on. Just doing it. Come on. So we're going to find out together, which is always fun, don't you think? I think so. Okay, let's pop it on here. Okay, we're starting out. We have a little bit of beat error, which is easily adjustable. We're over 200, which is a good place to start. I might need to demag the movement, but anyway, obviously it runs, and that's important. And the signal's going to clean up as it goes. Okay, I'm going to adjust that and let's see how things go. Okay, it's a couple minutes later. I did a quick adjustment, real like quick and dirty adjustment, nothing major. This is only one position, but it's enough for us to start letting this thing run in and get us some real info. But so far, so good. I'm going to let this thing run in overnight. I'm at the end of the day, and it looks like we're getting some kind of a front in. And so I want to make sure everything's cool outside before the wind hits. Ooh, and it's cold. That's a good starting point. Okay, let's let this run in overnight, and we'll see what the numbers are like tomorrow. Okay, that's that. Well, happy Monday morning. We have gone through a weekend of testing, and it's just beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? I really, I know that people are really partial to the gold dialed pokes, and I get it. For me personally, though, I prefer these blue dials. I really think they're just great. Everything's cool. Everything's kosher. Everything's ducky. It's no bad parts. Nothing to replace. Only the lower mainspring arbor port. Here's your stuff, including your crystals in there, and that's really about it. Good stuff, man. Okay, one last watch to go. And here we go. Fourth watch. Saving the true poke for last. Boy, it's funny. Used to run across these fairly often. Like even in this condition, you could find them. They weren't that hard to come by, but boy, those days are long gone. Whew, lordy. Well, let's do it. This one's nice, by the way. I like this. Well, it's got all the things I like. It's clearly original, 100% original, but it has even correct little things like this rolled edge front end piece. These are particular to this time period, and when I see them that they're all original, they have this one, not the sharp edged one, but the rolled over leading edge. Woof. Okay, let's do it. Beautiful movement. No obvious issues. It's clean. The seals are old, so the buttons are stuck, and that's normal. But I mean, look at how bright it is. That's just so great. It's so nice and bright. It's such a great place to start. The big question, of course, that everybody's wondering about is, where's that screw? So we've got a plate screw that's running around somewhere. So let's find it. I've got the oscillating framework with ball bearings, the winding bridge off. You can see the dust. This is around the jewel for the chronograph wheel. And it's dusty, and that's real normal. When I usually find one screw that has backed out, I usually find several. And this one, which was underneath this reduction wheel here, is also quite loose. And I don't know why it is. Sometimes you see one, maybe it's, you're always going to see another one. I don't know if it's that somebody was having a bad day when they were putting this together, or that I don't know, that the original owner worked around a lot of vibration. Who knows? Well, let's keep going. Not found anything yet, but the usual buttony goodness. Lots of dust and grot with ancient hardened seals. And we will get rid of that. Look at them. They're just, the seals are absolutely flat. They're like plastic. That's always fun. Fun, fun, fun. Okay. Then we've got that out here. Hang on just one second for me. There she blows. Okay, so now I've got to, now it is time to pull the hands. So I've got to put the crown back in there. And we've got to stop and reset. What's that all about? It should settle down. I wonder if we got some hammer wear. Oh, well, remember, we do have a loose screw in there, and the chronograph bridge is loose too. Okay, well, I'm not going to worry about that too much. Let me pull these in. Okay, well, I haven't found that screw yet. Soon, though, I hope. I was going to... Sorry for all the bumpling. Sebastian's having a great time. Let's see, which is always fun. Look at that. No dirt at all. It is starting to score a little bit right there. You can see that. So the lower mainspring arbor port doing the thing that lower mainspring arbor ports do. I can't even imagine what it's like to have that much energy. Well, let's see now. Let's see, we got this screw. Let's get that out of here. Come on, you. Get out. I sure hope that that other missing screw shows up underneath this bridge. Otherwise, we have a real mystery, but it doesn't matter if it's gone. I certainly have lots of those screws. Seiko used them. Oh, whoops, I dropped that screw. I think I'll probably find it when I come up, though. There's that. Come on, let's get out of here. Let's do this thing. Sorry for the humming. Just California dreaming today. It is cold. It is cold. There's the vertical. There's the pillar wheel. I got that. There it is. Okay. That's the little bushing diddly that goes with it. There we go. So that is the top of the bridge stripped down. Good gosh. Let's see if we have an answer to the mystery of the missing screw. Well, there's the underside. Yeah, there's the underside of the. There's that bushing for the train bridge, which is right there, and you can, for the mainspring arbor, you can actually see how worn that is. It's really interesting. Look, it's down to the brass. Wow, that actually really got pushed. Interesting. Okay, do we see a screw? I do not. I do not. Or do we? Oh no, that's the little screw, isn't it? The one that I dropped. Let's look at your chronograph wheel. Chronograph wheel appears to be good. I will check it again, but it holds. The clutch is holding. There's your third wheel. And escape wheel. Yeah, okay, I'll check that one over here. Second, this is that teeny tiny little screw there for that lower bridge thing for the intermediate wheel. There's that. Okay, well, let's pull the center wheel cock. Let's see what we got going on. Come on. There's that. I don't don't see that screw. I don't know where it went, but doesn't appear to be in the movement. Get out of there. Yeah. Oh yeah, we got some wear in that lower mainspring arbor port. And there's some of that S2 lubricant coming out. I wonder what that stripe is. What's that all about? Huh. Weird. I don't know what that's about. No, I don't see that screw. Well, that's okay. Not a big deal. I have replacements. I wonder what happened to it. Okay. Well, our main plate's mostly stripped down now. You can see there's the lower mainspring, or that's the lower mainspring arbor port right there. And you can see, well, hopefully you can see. Hang on just one second. Would you stop wiggling? I'm not helping matters. Yeah, you can see, if you look at this, look at the bevel here, and see the thickness here, and then all of a sudden it gets thinner over here. It always pushes out this side. So that's where the wear is. To only Seiko jeweled those. Gosh, all the trouble that would be saved. How much do you think a jewel would have cost for them if they were manufacturing in super bulk at a few pennies a piece? Maybe. I mean, they make all their own parts. Anyway, so that's got to be done. Here's the underside of the trim bridge. I cleaned it up a little bit. It's not really brassed on the outside like I thought it was, but boy, is it blown out on one side. Right there. You can see how thick it is all the way around here, and how thin it is here, how blown out, ground out it is there. Whew, that's crazy. Maybe it was run a good amount long after it had been made, and it just, without lubrication, it just ground down. I don't know. Okay, well, moving forward. So here we are out of the cleaner. Everything is just ducky. I have your lower mainspring arbor jewel is installed. This center wheel jewel was pushed down a little bit, so I brought that up a little bit. I have the winding pinion and the clean crown in place, so I can start putting this thing together. Have your barrel is all cleaned and assembled with all of its nice new S2 grease. And I got some other things here that I'm going to put together. So let's start it. Okay, it is at the, not quite the end of my day, but it's getting there. I would have actually had this running sooner, but there was the hairspring was tweaked on this balance, and I had to go back in and pull that and actually flatten out the hairspring and get it so the coils were equidistant, but because I was getting some real funky numbers. So I just got it running again. And there we are. I mean, it's been running for the grand total like 6 minutes after I corrected the hairspring. So I'm going to let it run overnight. So this is the usual thing. I'm going to let this be, and I want to let this settle and make sure that it's cool. So I'm going to pull the plug now, and I'll be back in on this tomorrow morning. But it's running now, and I want to see how it goes. The rest of it looked fine. Well, we shall see. Okay, let's see tomorrow morning. And so here we are. Numbers kept nice and stable, which is, I mean, not the output stayed nice and stable. The numbers have gone up. But I was worried about that beat Eric with we had all kinds of bat crazy numbers because of the hairspring that this thing had. But the next triumph, of course, is that this sweep hand actually was off. This watch was serviced once before, and the sweep hand was setting over here. And so I was able to, but it had been reused and put back on improperly, and I was able to get it to drop back onto the original setting right here. And that does not happen very often. Good Lord. Well, I think someone's going to school. All right, well, I'll get back to this. We're coming on the end of things here. Now, we've been through the day, and things are chugging along pretty well. I can't complain. And there's the watch itself. Doing it. I'm just waiting to cap it. One thing that's interesting is I have an unusual, it is talking about case back marks. And what it says is 8-75, and then initials, HS. So an unusual number, an unusual note with only, there you can see it, an unusual note with only the date and the initials. So we know that this was serviced once, 1975. Country wasn't quite 200 years old yet. Anyway, that's neat. Well, I'm just about to cap it up, and I'll sign it myself, and then that'll be the end of that story. Well, Keith, firstly, thank you for your patience. There we are, 4 watches. I tell you, it's a privilege seeing all these watches. I think doing 4 at a time is probably a little more than I should bite off at one go, but it just takes time. But here they are in all their glory. I mean, it's not much to say. I've reviewed each one as I've come through it, and they're good to go. Whoops. This is the one I just finished. Beautiful watch, huh? Beautiful watch. What a keeper. These are going up in value so much. I mean, even since, I mean, obviously it's been a while since these watches have been here, but in the time that these watches have been here, this one especially has gone up tremendously in value. Here's the old shroud for the Arnie. Those are the packets for each of the watches. I didn't mark the one for the Mac V SOG. The only issue that I've got going on is you also sent me this Z199 to pull apart. Okay, I got one of the 2 screws out. I don't know if you can see this. The threads were all rusted, but I did get one apart. The other one I did not. The head was already damaged. I can clean that up. Don't worry about that. The head was already damaged, and it's just, I couldn't get a grip on it. So the only way for me to get this apart would be to literally drill that out. And that would hopefully, because if I was able to drill this out, I could then get this link out of the way and maybe get a good handle on it and twist it out. But I mean, I went so far as to actually make drill bits, make a screwdriver to try to get this. And I used a lot of heat to try to get these to free up, and it simply would not. So you let me know what you want me to do, because right now I got one out, but not the other. I mean, it's better than nothing, but I don't know. We'll see. The other side, I'm trying to think. I mean, I could always take one out of the other side. No, I couldn't, because that's the only link right there. Okay, well, you let me know. But anyway, thank you again. I really do appreciate it.